Hello, everyone. Welcome to chapter 257 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekly edition and the Canada Day edition. So, this edition you may find to be quite shocking. So, if you want to see what I'm up to in this chapter, all you need to do is stay tuned. Yes, as I said, this is the Canada Day edition. So it's July 1st as I'm filming this. So hopefully I'll get this out today yet. But if I don't, well, I guess it'll be tomorrow. And yes, I am a little later in the week on my weekly edition. So there's been a few reasons why. Well, first of all, uh, I don't know, it's getting to be in this part of the country that we only have two seasons. We have winter and the rainy season because every day this last week we've gotten a little bit of rain. So that's put my outside projects on hold, which is really frustrating because I need to get going on them if I want to get them done. But it has given me more time to work in my shop. Unfortunately, I haven't used that time to clean up, which I desperately need to do. It's getting really, really bad in here. But of course, I didn't do that. And this week, we also happen to have my granddaughter out till the end of tomorrow. So she's been very beneficial with helping me in the shop and doing various projects on the yard over the years. So I thought, well, is there a project in the shop that it would really be nice to have two people to do? And yes, there is such a project. And the only way this could be shocking is if something's completely wrong. We are going to deal with the topic, my favorite topic, electrical. Yeah, I say that sarcastically. But when my shop was built, my neighbor did the wiring, and all the wiring in here is surface wiring. So the building was done, the drywall was on, the taping was done, and then the electrical got put in. We had plumbed in the main panel before that, but yeah, it's all surface. So when he wired things, one of the requirements for him is to label the panel. And I told him, no, don't worry about that. I'll take care of that. Because at the school shop, they did basically what my shop is like, and they labeled every plug, and it looked so neat and cool. I thought, I'm going to do that. So here we are 10 years later, and I'm finally getting to it. So what happened is my granddaughter would go to the particular outlet. Now, most of the plugs here are on their own circuit. That's another thing that we did. But for the 110 plugs, for some reason, my tester, didn't work on the 110 plugs. I suspect because they're all tamper-resistant plugs. So anyway, she carried a blow dryer around and plugged that in. And when that went out, I'd flip breakers until it went out. And then we'd label everything, and away we went to the next one. So the 220 plugs, we could use my little Home Depot tester. Seemed to work just fine. The welding plugs and those odd configuration 220 plugs, we couldn't get anything to read. So I had to plug in the appliance that was there and get it to run. So my welder plugs and that, it was kind of weird. But we got it all to work out. I have a couple of questions for my electrician yet. As of right now, I have two 220 circuits that I have no idea what they do. There's one bank of two switches on the wall. I have no idea what it does. And I think there's one 110 breaker that I couldn't make sense of. But other than that, it's all labeled. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on my handheld here, and I'm going to walk around the shop and show you what we've done. Now, this isn't done yet. We basically took pieces of masking tape and a marker, and marked everything because I didn't want to, I wanted to get everything done when my help was here. And now I'll sit down with a label maker and I might do one or two for the video just to show you what it should look like in the end. When the school division did this in the school shop, that was one thing, in my opinion, they really did right. The electrical was really well done. So I'm trying to copy a little bit of the labeling of that. And as far as my electrical working in here, it's been flawless. It's been perfect. I don't have breakers going off. Every once in a while, when we run two big routers on that work table over there, I'll trip a breaker. But that's been in 10 years, I think it's happened twice. So it's all been really well done. And I thank my neighbor for that because it was his guidance that got me there. So anyway, what I'm going to do is put you on the handheld and we're going to go take a look at the rough work first, okay? And then I'll show you maybe one or two circuits that are completely done to finish this off. Okay, I'll be back. And like I said, you'll have to excuse the real mess in here. Before we get into the electrical, it's not every day that you have to design a wheel system and a steering system for your longboard press. But these tires are going on here and I need to finish doing that. And then the jig will go back together and away we go. So the welder was back here and we were welding. No, that dust wasn't there while I was welding. Give me a little bit of credit. I am smarter than that. But yeah, we ended up doing a little bit. I don't think I'm going to show you this more than this. Maybe once it's done, I'll give you a shot. But then it's going over to the other building. So anyway, that wonderful pine cabinet there with a little KTM Strider on top, you had to know I'd sneak a motorcycle reference in here somewhere, is where my panel resides. Okay, there it is. So yeah, there's a few things. There's a plug-in right in there. I think that we put in pretty early, so we had power in here. And then it runs a router, not the other kind of router. By the way, little hint, that might be what the next video is about because I succumbed to Facebook again. But anyway, there's just some things in here that I store, things that I want to make sure I can keep track of. But there's the breaker box, or there's the panel. At the time, they told me this was the biggest panel I could get for 100 amp. I don't know. They say a lot of things, but this was quite a few years ago, so there's probably many more circuits on than this. What does it say this has? Oh, the 64. So yeah, whatever. It's what is it? A federal Pioneer. I'm not sure. There have been a lot of changes in the electrical wholesale businesses around here. That some panels that were really common 10, 15 years ago, now you can't really get breakers for anymore. So, but anyway, so what we did is, and I do have a clip of it, my granddaughter standing on a chair. Uh, okay, let's go look at a few plugs that are done here. They're all done, but may as well tour the mess. A few more cores that I did. Okay, so that's a plug-in. Okay, it's a 110 plug, and I kind of came up with a little bit of a system to do these. We hadn't quite agreed upon it, or agreed. I hadn't thought of it when I started doing this. There I did one, the way it's going to be finished. But the key to this is your code. So we decided, and maybe I'll talk about the code a little bit later. But so you can see I've got, my granddaughter has everything labeled. Even, I keep forgetting to put a sticker on that compressor plug. I need to do that yet. Okay, but here, let's get into some of these upper ones here. See, there's that green tape on it. and it's all nicely labeled. Now, this was, I would say, the longest part of all of this. Boy, I don't know if I feel good about walking this way. You're going to see my mess. But anyway, so that's what I did. So we labeled everything, like everything we could think of, like the welder plugs are labeled, you know, the 120-volt plugs, they're all, everything that I could think of is actually labeled. So basically, this is kind of one step of everything done. I have no idea what those two do. Okay. So, anyway, I think what we're going to do is now that you've kind of seen what's going to happen here, we're going to go back on the stand and talk about it. Okay. Well, basically, what the important thing is in all of this is deciding a labeling method or a a way to make it so that you understand what's been done. And in the future, if you have a small key, maybe everybody else could too. So I don't know how logical this is, but I'm going to explain what my mind thought of. And I actually have to make a few changes yet because we didn't do this right from the very start. So let's talk about a 110-volt wall plug. Okay. So the first letter would have been a P for plug or plug in, whatever you prefer. Plug in. And later we switched to putting a W in there. So it was PW, so plug, wall. And I haven't labeled this in final form yet, but I don't feel I need to put the 120 in there. So ours became PW1. PW2, and so on and so on. Okay. I debated putting the PW120 in and then the number, like number 4 or 5. But when you look at a plug, you know, I'm sorry, but if you can't tell the difference between a straight up and down, like a 110 and a 240-volt plug, then I don't know. I don't need that level of guidance. Let's just put it that way. So, okay. So wall plugs, 120-volt wall plugs were PW, so plug, wall, and then the number. So on the breaker, on the panel, I would do the same thing. I think what I'm going to add to that, though, is the exact number of the breaker. So let's find one. So I hadn't changed there yet. So let's say PW 13 and 18 are on breaker 63. So this little guy there. So that's something I may add just to avoid confusion. I find that numbers and things like that, I just forget. I move on and I forget about it. So if I put everything, if I label it as carefully as I can, it should be good. Okay, so we covered plugs, 120-volt plugs in the wall. Okay, 240-volt plugs in the wall were PW, and then the number of the plug-in. So PW5, and then I added 240. Okay, and that wasn't so much for the plug-in labeling, it was more for clarity in the panel. So let's see, where do I have one? Okay, so breaker number 55 and 57, those two there, is plug-in, wall. Oh, this is a welding plug. Sorry, I shouldn't have picked on that one. Let's see, plug-in, wall. Here, let's go with this one. 32 and 34 are plug-in, wall, number 2, 240. Okay. Now, I may as well talk about it because I just did. The welding plugs. I have 3 welding plugs. So the way I designated them was, okay, let's start with this one here. So breaker 59 and 61 are plug-in, wall, welder 1, 240. Is it overkill? I don't know. It'll print nicely on the label. I'm not worried about that, but it'll be some clarity. And we'll put the same tag on the actual outlet. So that should help. Um, like I said, I worked for 10 years with nothing, so the electrical has been so good I haven't needed to track anything down, but I'm sure this will help. Okay, let's talk about sealing. You can probably guess already what happened. So on a 110 sealing plug, it would have been plug sealing, so PC, and then the number of the plug, PC1, PC2, etc. All right. If it was a 240 volt sealing plug, then I did PC, so plug sealing, and then the number of the plug, say PC5 240. And so basically the same way as I did the walls, except here's one. There's breakers number 28 and 30 are PC5 240 volt. Okay, so depending on where the plug is, it's the plug and the location or the type of electrical. I don't want to say the word outlet, but the type of electrical plug or outlet, where it's located, wall or ceiling, and the number in the series. Those are the things I did. And then when it was 240, I put 240 beside it. And like I said, for clarity in the panel, because I can look at a plug and see whether it's 110 or 240. I know all of you can. So that's what I did. Now, there were some specialty ones. For example, my furnace, which is direct wired. So I will put down a tag and I'll just put furnace breaker number 49. I won't put anything on the furnace itself. Now, that brings up another interesting question. Would I have been better off just to label the tools that I have plugged into that? Name my tools, bandsaw 1, bandsaw 2, table saw 1, table saw 2. Name the tools and put that in here. Now, the chances of me moving tools around is really, really slim. So I think I could have done that, but this way, it's the plug itself that's linked to the breaker, not the tool. So I don't know if you understand that reasoning, but to me, it made logical sense. So that way, I think I can keep some sanity in my electrical stuff here. Now, I still have a couple of problems here, and I've probably mislabeled something because I am human. Trust me, I'm really human. So, but I have a 220 breaker here that I have nothing for, and another one here that there's nothing for. And then there's a weird thing going on here that I've got a 240 circuit here, but half of it's running some 110, which makes no sense at all. And I know that I can't see my electrician doing that. So anyway, that's just really strange. I haven't labeled the main yet. And the lights are also another thing that maybe should be labeled. So I think what I'm going to do with that though is because usually the lights, well, no, they're the main lights in here are on two breakers. Um, the switches I'm going to label as well, so that's all going to work. But if I need to put some extra information in somewhere, I may just write some notes and put them on the panel there. That's all there's to it. Yeah, like the water heater is the same as the furnace. Like I don't have it's direct wired, so I don't have a place for it. The dust collector plugs in, and that's labeled. So yeah, other than as far as I can tell right now, not accounting for three circuits, I think I've got everything the way it needs to be. So is this something that's really appropriate in your shop? I would say yes, especially if you're building something new. For example, I don't know, about a week ago, maybe two, I had an individual from Saskatoon that came out to look at my shop, the build of it and everything. I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. And he put a note in the Woodworkers Guild newsletter saying, hey, if anybody has a shop, I'm looking for ideas. So yeah, we got together. We had a great chat. He's going to have a wonderful shop when it's done. He's got some wonderful ideas. So I think it's just exciting to see that and to share this. So this is just one area of my shop, but it's a very, very important area. Um, I have a little saying that I use with myself. There's no time cheaper to put in that extra plug-in than right now. When you're wiring the building, if you think you're going to need a plug in there, put one there. I actually have a number of plugins in here I've never plugged anything into. I also wasn't quite sure where all my equipment would sit when I wired this. So I would put a 110 plug and a 220 plug in close proximity, just in case I had a 110 or 220 tool. And then on the ceiling, I hadn't run anything until the tools were in place. So that helped. My ceiling is exactly the way I want it. It's exactly right. And the rest, I have enough. Although I have added the odd 110 plug here and there, just because the 110 I had wasn't really where I needed it. So we just took off of it and made another one. Remember, almost all my plugs are on their own circuit in here. So I think I only have, out of this whole thing, there's maybe 5 circuits that have more than one thing on them. So I think that's another thing you really want to do when you do this. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. I'm hoping that maybe before I close this video off, I'm going to do a couple for real and show you what it's going to look like. And then we'll move on from there and close this video off. Well, a nice shot of the cloudy sky outside. But the reason you're over here is because I have one circuit done. So I'm going to just tip you up here. So there we go. There's my dust collector plug. It's a wall plug, number 4, 240 volt. Okay, and then to find that in the panel, there it is. So PW4 240, there it is, breakers number 4 and 6, 4 and 6, there we go. And I even took the time to label the main breaker. So anyway, this is what it's all going to look like eventually. I'm not sure how fast I'm going to go. If it's nice outside tomorrow, I'm going to work on outside stuff. But if it's nice or not nice, I may continue on this and maybe get it done. So anyway, with that in mind, let's get back on the tripod and close this video off. Well, I've been thinking about making this video for quite a while actually, but I hadn't really planned on doing it right now. Like I say, I'm really starting to get a little bit frustrated about the weather. I can't get anything done outside, and I really need to get the rest of our yard figured out. And I would really love to get the cement layer on my grandkids' clubhouse before the snow is flying in fall. My kitchen cabinets, they're kind of waiting a little bit. So this is how things work in my life. So as you can see when I walk around, this place is a complete disaster. That has to change because I can't build cabinets in that mess. So the first thing that has to happen is my longboard press needs to go into storage. But before I can do that, I have to weld the wheels on it and make a steering system for it and make it so that I can pull it out there with my garden tractor or whatever, so I don't tear the casters off like the last little wheels I had on were basically designed to ride on a cement floor, something smooth. So anyway, I've got to get that done, and then I can maybe clean up, and then I can start working on cabinets. So it's a bit of a gong show here. So, and like I say, the weather has been a little bit frustrating. So yeah, I don't know. I'm getting to the point where keeping up with 2 videos a week is really getting to be a challenge. So, and I think you guys could probably tell from the content, although I think this content today is something really good if you're building a shop, but I would have liked to have shown you the completed project in the end. but you get a bit of an idea of what it'll look like. And remember, yours doesn't need to look the same. It's the idea. If you want to copy something from this video, copy the idea, not exactly the way I did it. You may have other ideas, so use them, but use this to, oh, I could do that. So anyway, with that in mind, yeah, I think there'll be a weekly or a weekend edition that will come out fairly quickly, and I already have a topic for it, I think, so that'll go quick. Yeah, and for my Canadian viewers, happy Canada Day today. Enjoy the day off. I wish we had better weather here for you to enjoy it, but maybe just sitting at home, reading a book, or sitting in your cabin at the lake, or whatever you do. I hope you're not in a tent when it's raining. I've done that. That's not a lot of fun. Anyway, have a great day. My American friends, we'll do that on the next video because July 4th is coming up. I believe it's Saturday. So yeah, celebrate, enjoy, be thankful for the countries that we live in, and we'll move along. So yeah, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you very shortly on the weekend edition. Take care out there.